Welcome back to Cecilia's Spot, and on today's episode we're going to make a child's beanbag chair. And what you need for this is your fabric that you'd like. I'm going to use 2 different fabrics because it's going to be actually like 6 panels. And you need 2 yards of each color you want, and if you just want 1 color, then 4 yards. And preferably something a little thicker. One is fleece that I have, and then one is just a regular camo fabric. And then a zipper, because that's going to be the outside part so that it can be removed. Not to be washed, because you know it'll probably get dirty and need to be washed at some point. And then for the inside, I have 4 yards of this very thin kind of cheaper fabric that I'm going to use for the beanbag filling. And speaking of beanbag filling, you do need that. They didn't carry it at my local craft store for some reason, just real small bags. So I ended up going online and buying this very large beanbag filling bag, 100 liters. I did get mine from Amazon. I have Amazon Prime, so it was no problem. It was just free shipping. So that will actually go in the white, thinner, cheaper that you won't see fabric in the inside, and then the outside part will have the zipper to get washed. So go ahead and get your fabric and your supplies together. And then there's actually really no pattern for this. I'm going to show you how to make it. Okay, it's pretty easy. So the first thing you actually want to do is whatever color you want to start with, or the inside, whichever. You're going to measure your fabric. Okay, so you're going to make these panels, same with the inside. And what you want to do is actually cut 40 inches long, whichever way you want your long to be, and then the 16 inches wide, okay? And you'll end up with a long piece like this. So you're going to need, if you're doing 2 colors, you're going to need 3 of each in the one color, then 3 of each in the other color. And then for the inside, I'm just doing the same cheap kind of fabric, so I have 6 of them as well. So go ahead and cut them, and it's 40 by 16. Okay, so do as best as you can to get as close. And then we'll meet back when you have all your panels ready. Okay, so once you've cut your pieces, you want to fold them in half, okay? Long ways, and then fold it again. And then this is the part where you need to just take mind where your folds are. So you want your fold on the top and your fold on the side here, on the left side. Now, you want to measure to about the 6-inch mark here. So right around here. And what we're going to do for all of these pieces, you're going to fold them and get to the 6-inch, and you're going to just make a curve right to the corner here. So the top's folded, the side's folded. Find your 6-inch, and then just cut it right on up. Okay, so let me see if I can try and do this one-handed here. So, well, let me just show you because I have to hold it, obviously. You're going to take it and you're just going to cut it right on up like that. Okay? And then you'll have your cut piece, okay, which will be like the corner there. And let me show you what it looks like when you unfold it. This one, it has a lot of little pieces on it that I have to take off because it's fleece, but each side will have the angles, okay? And then you can actually use this piece if you want, that you cut already. So this is what it would look like after you cut it. And then put it on top of the other ones, and you just can use it as your pattern for all of them. So go ahead and take all of them, fold them twice, get your fold on the top and the side, go to the 6-inch and cut, and then you can use that one for all of them and do that for every single piece that you cut out, the 6 on the outside and the 6 on the inside, and then we'll return. Okay, so I'm going to work on the inside piece first, the inside part. So it doesn't really matter, I'm using the cheaper white muslin fabric here. So you can really use whatever you want for the inside, it doesn't matter which side goes to which, but you're gonna open it up. This is my big piece here. You're gonna take your other inside beanbag cover piece and you're gonna line it up with it. For the outside, we'll be doing the same thing, except we'll be facing the fabric towards each other. So that what happens is, what we're gonna do now is we're gonna sew all the way just down one side, okay? And make sure that you do the edges real well, and I'm gonna do it twice. I'm gonna double sew it just to make sure it's strong and it stays, okay? So go ahead and do that. And then when you're done with that, you will open it up like this, and those two sides will be together, and then you'll do the same thing. You'll put another piece this way, and you'll sew on this side, and then you'll open it up that way. And I'll show you what that looks like, okay? So now we have the one side done. There's 3 panels sewn together, and this is the outside. You can see because it's not sewn, there's no seam line like in the other side. So this you want facing up. And then I did the other 3 panels together the same way. And you want to go through and just kind of tug at it, make sure there's it's real strong, that there's no holes, especially on the end. So you're going to take it, and you want the 2 sides to be facing each other that you want. And you're going to line up the outside parts. It's going to be hard to see on here, but you're going to line up the outsides and pin all the way around, and you're going to sew actually around the whole thing, but you're going to leave a little hole. I'm going to make it a bigger hole, a couple inches, maybe like 3-4 inches at least, so that we can stuff it, and then we'll hand sew that. So go ahead and line your 2 up with the sides you want on the outside together on the inside, and sew all the way around except for one opening. Okay, so now that I've sewn the 2 sides together, you can see it's kind of like one big ball. I left that opening there, and I did sew it twice. I used a zigzag on the outside and a regular stitch on the inside. So now you want to take your hole, and you're going to turn it right side out. So just gonna pull it right through that hole. Hopefully you made it big enough and strong enough on the sides with your back stitch that it doesn't pull out. And here comes my little 18-month-old walking around with her stroller. Okay, so you want to make sure all the corners and everything are sewn really tight. Give everything a tug. Make sure it's all good. Make sure your seams are all out here, that everything looks good. Okay. So now what you're going to do is use your beanbag filling and fill it. You just have to be very careful because obviously it's a smaller hole and you don't want those beans going everywhere. Once you've filled it, then you can either hand sew it, or if you have enough room, you can use your machine. Just make sure that you really close it up nice and tight. Okay, and that is going to be your inside. I told you before, I'm going to use a zipper. Now mine is about 22 inches long, and I'm looking at it and I'm realizing that it probably would have been better to go with a 24 or 26. But you can also use, if you don't want to use a zipper, you can use Velcro or buttons or whichever way you like. So I'm going to show you how to attach a zipper. The first thing you need to do with your sewing machine, if you've never done this before, is you need to change the foot, which I've done already, but let me just kind of walk you through it. Usually your sewing machine comes with a zipper foot that looks like this. But on the back of my machine here, there's a little lever, this little black guy. If push it in and the foot will actually fall right off. Okay, so you take your original foot off. This is the original one. And then you take your zipper foot. And there's two sides here, depending on which side of the zipper you're working on, and you'll see that later. And then you kind of just line it right up again. Just get this out of the way. And you'll see, it's a little blurry, but right where the bar is, there's a crevice. And for mine, you just put the leg down, and you would kind of, whoops, hard to do with one hand here. You kind of adjust it so that it fits over that bar. There we go. Okay, so that's it. That's the zipper foot. Okay, and I'll show you which side to use which. But if you're doing a zipper, that's what you need for the foot. And we're moving on to the outside here. This is the outside part of the bean bag. And you want to take your zipper. This is the outside, the good part. So you want the outside to face what you want on the outside as well. So you just take one panel. This is how you start. And we're going to sew. We're going to line it up around the curve, so you got to be very careful to kind of bunch it and curve it correctly. And what you want to do is sew as close to the zipper as you can. That's what the zipper foot lets you do. Okay, so you can see that I opened the zipper up and I have the right side down. Okay, so that when you turn it over, it'll show up the right way. And with the zipper foot for this side, you know, you want this to kind of slide down, so I have it on the left. And then I'm just going to go all the way down to the end. And so real tight, I'm using a 2 and a 2 setting. Okay, so now that you've sewn it already on the one side, what we have to do is sew the other side. So you're not going to worry about, you know, the part on the top and the part on the bottom below the zipper right now. What we're going to do is take the right side of the next panel that's going to go next to it, and you're going to face it towards the right side of the zipper. So this is the right side of the zipper. So we're going to face it like this. Line it up, pin it down, and then you're going to kind of open it up on the other side and sew it down this way so that you're not sewing the pieces together. And it's just for the zipper, and we'll come back and I'll show you how to do the rest of it. Okay, so that's that. I zipped it up, and then it should look, if you put it together, the two panels like this, you have your zipper. Now, essentially for the rest of it, you just want to line it up and just be careful of where the zipper is, but you want to try to line the edges up, and then you'll sew down kind of even starting there at the bottom, and sew it just like you have the other ones, okay, to the point, and the same thing on the other side. Okay, so now that you've sewn your 2-3 panels for the outside, you want to make sure your zipper is open, or if you're using buttons, make sure they're unbuttoned, and then obviously you can kind of open the Velcro yourself. So you are going to face the two sides that you want on the outside, just like you did before with the other side, the other inside part. Face them and then pin them and then sew it all the way around. And then what we'll do is we'll pull it right side out, right through that hole you have. And then we'll meet back. So as you can see, I turned this right side out and then I stuffed this bag in. Now I never sewed it closed, and it's not really stuffed all the way. I wanted to make sure I could fit it in this because it's a smaller zipper. And I had absolutely no problem. I probably could have filled it more and sewn it up to fit it in. But what I'm going to do then is fill it up, and then I'm going to sew it like this on the outside, take the rubber band off, and fill it up. Alright? Here is the finished product. Here's the finished product. Put it next to the bookshelf so we can relax.